do first a roll call of members first, and then other members who would like to identify themselves. So, John Tagg.
Stephanie Terman.
Ann O'Gorick.
As for other board members, Michelle Smianek.
Lori Mizgorski.
Jeff Letwin.
Okay, seeing no others. First item on the agenda is the approval of the September 15 minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Okay, seeing no corrections, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, next item up, and I just have one item on the agenda today, and that's the November service changes updates by Philip St. Pierre. Philip, are you on the call?
Good morning. Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, committee members. I'm Philip St. Pierre. I'm the Director of Transit Scheduling here at PRT. And today I'm going to give you an overview of the November 20th, 2022 service changes. For the presentation, we have the changes broken down into 4 categories. They are going to be frequency changes, reduced trips, routing changes, and time adjustments. With these service changes, our projected extra board percentage is going to be estimated at this time around a 20% extra board. We've talked about the extra board in the past, and these are the operators that help fill in and cover absences for other operators that picked work. This is really going to help our reliability. Overall, the reduction in service hours for this service change is approximately 1.78%. So we're looking to continue to align our services with our ridership and continue to improve our service reliability with the service change. For frequency changes, the route 12, 20, and 69 will see daily frequency changes for weekday, Saturday, and Sunday. The route 14 will see frequency changes for weekday and Sunday service. The routes 2, 53L, 56, and P10 will see weekday only frequency changes. And route 89 will see weekend frequency changes for Saturday and Sunday. And route 79 will see frequency changes for Sunday.
Those reductions in frequency or increases in frequency?
Yeah, they are all minor reductions in frequency. They are for some routes, for example, like the route 20, we'll see weekday frequency go from approximately 40 minutes to approximately 45 to 60 minutes. So yeah, all of those frequency changes are minor reductions in frequency. Right, for reduced trips, the routes 21, 67, 71A, B, and D, 74, Y1, Y46, Y47, and Y49 will have weekday trip reductions. 61D will have some trip reductions on Saturday. And the blue line will have trip reductions on Saturday and Sunday with the service starting approximately at 10:30 a.m. We do have 4 routing changes to review. These changes are related to the long-term Washington Avenue Bridge closure. The Route 59 has been extended to Church Street to bypass the Washington Avenue Bridge. The P7 and the P71 are basically swapping service in the Swissville-Rankin area. The P7 will utilize Woodstock Avenue, which was previously serviced by the P71. The P71 will service Swissville and Rankin, previously serviced by the P7. So there's a swap of service in that area between those 2 routes. And in addition to the P71 going to Swissville Station, we'll be matching that with the Route 71 will be extended to Swissville Station to match that route, P71. And for time adjustments, the following routes will see weekday time adjustments: the route 38, 44, 57, 59, 64, 69, 77, P3, P7, and P71. Those will have weekday time adjustments. The routes 54 and 55 will have time adjustments on the weekends for Saturday and Sunday. The 93 will have time adjustments on Saturday only. And the 61A and the 61B will have time adjustments on Sunday. That concludes my review of the November 20th, 22 service changes. We're aiming for week's end to get the public information out and all the timetables related to the service change out on our website and out to the public. And I can answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Thank you, Philip. Any questions of committee members?
Sure. I have a
Okay.
question. When you say weekend, today is Thursday. Are you talking about next week or starting when you're getting it out to the public?
We're hopefully aiming for tomorrow to get the website ready and then get everything get up to date for that. So yeah, we're near the week's end. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Everything's
Right.
prepped and ready. We're just working out the kinks. So.
Right, because these changes go in November. What did you say?
November 20th.
Okay.
Thank you. Any questions of other board members?
Yes, this is Lori Misgorski. Can you tell me specifically what the change is to the number 2 on Mount Royal Boulevard, please?
Yes, the Route 2 will see weekday frequency changes. The frequency will be changed to every 52 minutes in frequency, with some periods in the morning every 26 minutes due to some ridership on some of those early trips.
Okay, so what is the current frequency then?
The current frequency, I didn't write that down. I'll have to
Okay.
take a look at that and get that information back to you.
Okay, I'm assuming it's a slight extension of time. Is that probably accurate? Not that it's closer together?
Correct. Yes, the frequency has been reduced. So I shooting completely off the cuff, but I think it's around 45 minutes in current frequency. Okay. But I will confirm that and we'll get that information over to you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Any other questions of committee members or board members? If not, are there any stakeholders in the room that have a question that they'd like to pose to Philip? Okay, thank you very much, Philip. Since there's no additional questions and that was the only item on the agenda, I'd like to call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting stands adjourned. I think you're up next. And you're up next, I think. Right?
Yeah, I'll give everyone a second.
Hey, John, I just wanted to note that I was on the call. I just didn't want to interrupt you. Okay, this is Jen.
Right, and I think, Ally, you identified yourself too.
Yep, I'm here.
Did I?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started with the Finance Committee for October 20th, 2022. I'll begin with a roll call of the committee members. Board Member Liptak, you're here, obviously.
Here.
Representative Davis. Okay. Board Member DeLon. All right. Any other board members present? Please identify yourselves.
Jeff Letwin.
Stephanie
Michelle
Turman.
Reed.
Lori Misgorski.
John Tagg.
Allie Doyle.
Okay, thank you. Our next agenda item is approval of the minutes of the September 15th Finance Committee meeting. Do I have any comments, questions, or revisions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, thank you. All right, we have one resolution today. It's authorization to extend and amend agreement with Marquette Associates, Inc. to provide Chief Investment Officer services. Pete.
Good morning, Madam Chair and other board members. So as way of review, back in June of 2018, the PRT issued a RFP for CIO services. So what these services are is that the CIO makes recommendations on an investment policy to the consolidated pension plan. The consolidated pension plan is the closed plan representing the non-union police and IBEW employees and retirees. The CIO also monitors the quarterly performance of the pension plan and makes recommendations on changes to the investment strategy. In September of 2018, the board approved a 3-year contract with Marquette Associates, Inc. for a total not to exceed amount of $643,930. And that agreement also included 2 option years at the sole discretion of the PRT. In September of 2021, the PRT board approved or exercised and approved the first option year to take that through November 30th of 2022 and increase the total not to exceed amount to $867,780. So this resolution for your consideration would be to adopt the second option year, and the services performed by Marquette to date have been satisfactory and in full compliance with the contract. And we've determined it's in the best interest to exercise that second option year, which would take it through November 30th of 2023 and increase the total not to exceed amount to $1,110,448. Can I answer any questions?
Any questions from board or committee members?
No.
All right, hearing none, do I have a motion to forward the resolution for the board's consideration?
So moved.
Second, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, or I'm sorry, I didn't ask for opposed, but all right, and then the next item are financial statements.
All right, so to review the September 2023 financial statements, total operating income for the month was $245,175 below budget. Predominantly, that shortfall was related to access shared ride revenues falling below levels for the month. Our total operating income through the first quarter is $1.47 million below budget, and that's principally due to lower passenger revenues. On the good news side, total expenses for the month and also for the first quarter, for the month, $3.6 million favorable, below budget, and for the first quarter, $15.9 million below budget for the first quarter from an expense perspective, with all expense categories for both the month and the quarter below budget. Our subsidies for the month and for the first quarter are above budget, and that's due to higher state operating assistance, but that will normalize by the end of the fiscal year. From a year-over-year perspective, our total operating income is $969,691 higher than last fiscal year. Some of the items that are higher than last fiscal year, our passenger revenues are slightly higher. Interest income, with the rates that we're getting on our cash, is significantly higher than last fiscal year, and also advertising revenue is slightly higher than last fiscal year. Our total expenses are $2.9 million higher than last fiscal year. That's due to higher diesel fuel, materials expense, software, and also general insurance are some of the items that are exceeding last fiscal year's levels. Our total subsidy is $9.5 million higher than last fiscal year due to state operating assistance with preventive maintenance. As reviewed, this year's state operating assistance levels are about $19 million higher for the fiscal year. So we would anticipate that that will continue for the rest of the year. But they will be on budget for both preventive maintenance and state operating assistance. From an operating reserve perspective, we began the month of September with $126.1 million in operating reserves. We received $54.1 million in state operating assistance. And that represents both the July, August, and September payments from the state for operating assistance. So that's why that number is so high for the month. During September, we had cash outflows of $39.6 million towards salary and wages, benefits, materials and supplies, and professional services. So PRT ended the month with $151.9 million in operating reserves. Can I answer any questions regarding the finances?
Any questions from committee or board members?
No.
Nothing this month, I guess. Thank you,
All right.
Pete.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, that was the end of our agenda. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned and we'll meet again at the end of November. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle Smienick, so welcome to the Performance Oversight Committee. So as you gather your papers, we're going to get ready for our roll call. So Representative Austin Davis, are you here with us this morning? Representative Musgorski? Are you still on the call?
Present,
Hi.
yes.
Good morning, thank you. Our second item of business will be approval of meeting minutes. So those would be the September 15th performance oversight. Do I have any changes, corrections, amendments to those meetings? Hearing none, could I have a motion to approve those meeting minutes, please?
So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Moving along with item number 3 on our agenda this morning. So that is our awarding of bids, our proposals. So this will be Jermaine Ward. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair and other committee members. I have 7 items for you to review and recommendation to present to our full board for approval. All of the bid items were publicly advertised and e-business documents distributed. Item number 1, we have vehicle and uplifts purchases under the state scheduled co-stars agreement. Co-stars has awarded vehicle and vehicle uplift contracts to several firms, and PRT wishes to make purchases under the terms and conditions of each of the respective state scheduled co-stars contracts as indicated in the below recommendations. These contracts are effective at least through September 29, 2023, and PRT wishes to purchase a total of 5 vehicles and 5 respective uplift packages under the terms and conditions of each of these contracts as specified more fully below. These vehicles will replace our current vehicles that are at least 10 years old and have an excess of 100,000 miles and are beyond their useful service life. It is our recommendations that the contracts be awarded under the same terms and conditions of the co-stars as follows. Contract 013-156, emergency responder vehicles to Bill McCandless Ford for 1 unmarked police vehicle, 1 patrol car, and 3 police K-9 vehicles in the amount of $195,287. Second item is contract 012-E22271. We're looking for emergency responder equipment and supplies to the PA Public Safety LLC for the uplift packages for the 1 unmarked police vehicle, the 1 police car, and 3 police K-9 vehicles in the amount of $86,070.61. Staff has determined that the pricing under the CoStar's agreement to be fair and reasonable for the vehicles to be purchased under the above referenced contracts and consistent with the funds budgeted. Item number 2, very similar purchase. CoStars had awarded vehicles and vehicle uplift contracts under the state schedule CoStars contract. These contracts are effective at least through September 29, 2023, and PRT wishes to purchase up to a total of 12 vehicles and the 12 respective uplift packages under the terms and conditions of each of the respective contracts. These vehicles, again, will replace our current vehicles that are at least 10 years old and have an excess of 100,000 miles and are beyond their useful service life. These 12 vehicles consist of 12 pickup trucks, which are a variety of models and sizes. It should also be noted that the order bank for government pricing will be available via CoStars for 3 days only between November 7th and 10th, 2022, and final pricing for these vehicles available in this order bank will not be made available to the vendors to provide other government agencies purchasing off of the CoStar state schedule until October 27th, 2022. It is our recommendation that the contract be awarded under the same terms and conditions under the CoStar's agreement number 025, municipal work vehicles to the vendors that offer the lowest vehicle price for the purchase of up to 12 vehicles in an estimated total not to exceed amount of $659,365, and also the respective uplifts in an estimated total not to exceed amount of $143,450. Staff has determined that the estimate and anticipated pricing of the Pennsylvania state schedule is to be considered fair and reasonable and consistent with the funds budgeted. Number 3, electric switch machines. 3 firms accepted the invitation and 2 bids were received for electric switch machines for the use of PRT's light rail vehicle system. The low bidder, Volstapine Nortrack, proposed an item that was not technically compliant and therefore not eligible for award. It is our recommendation that the contract be awarded to the low responsible bidder, which submitted a responsive bid, Hitachi Rail STS USA Inc., in the estimated amount of $123,752 over a 1-year period. There has been no previous purchase of this model of electric switch machines. However, staff has determined that the price be fair and reasonable and consistent with the budgeted funds. Brake drums coach. 5 firms accepted the invitation and 5 bids were received for brake drums used in the maintenance of PRT's bus fleet. The low bidders, Midwest Bus Corporation and Truck Pro Holding Corporation, qualified their bid by entering delivery terms that contradicted the delivery requirements outlined in PRT's specification and therefore not eligible for award. It is our recommendation that a contract be awarded to the low responsible bidder, which submitted a responsive bid, Aftermarket Parts Company, in an estimated amount of $123,596 over a 1-year period. The price represents a 27 increase over the previous contract prices for these items over 1 year ago. Staff has determined that the pricing to be fair and reasonable and consistent with the funds budgeted. Number 5, landscaping and trash removal services. One firm accepted the invitation and one bid was received for landscaping and trash removal services for park and ride lots in northeast and west areas of Allegheny County. It is our recommendation that the contract be awarded to the low responsible bidder, which submitted a responsive bid, Pittsburgh Lawn Care, in the estimated amount of $116,826 over a 3-year period. The price represents a 2.9% increase over the previous contract price. Staff has determined the pricing to be fair and reasonable and consistent with the funds budgeted. Number 6, environmental testing, sampling, and reporting. Two firms accepted the bid and 2 bids were received for environmental testing, sampling, and reporting over a 3-year period. It is our recommendation that a contract be awarded to the low responsible bidder, which submitted a responsive bid, Envirotech Ltd, in the estimated amount of $330,603. This price represents a 10% increase over the previous contract prices for these services 3 years ago. Staff has determined the price to be fair and reasonable and consistent with the funds budgeted. Number 7, magnetic track brake parts. 2 firms accepted the invitation and 2 bids were received for magnetic track brake replacement parts for the maintenance of PRT's LRV system. It is our recommendation that a contract be awarded to the lowest bidder, which submitted a responsive bid, Hall Industries, Inc., in the estimated amount of $134,000 over a 2-year period. This price represents a 4% decrease over the previous contract prices for these items 2 years ago. Staff has determined that the pricing be fair and reasonable and consistent with the funds budgeted. If there's no additional questions, I am recommending that we present this to the full board.
Thank you, Ms. Ward, for the comprehensive report there. Very well done. I'm very sorry about the 20%, 27% increase on the brake drums, but I don't know how we would perform without them. So, and then
yeah. Well, we decreased the number. We decreased the number of the numbers that we were utilizing. So therefore, the unit price itself is what increased. The 27%. So we're still paying less, but just the unit price, because we're not utilizing the same value from the previous contract, the unit price itself has increased by the 27%. So.
Very good. Thank you for that explanation. Any of my committee members have questions for Ms. Ward? Do any of the other board members present have questions for Ms. Ward on her report? Hearing no questions, could I have a motion to move this forward to the full board for a vote next Friday?
So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Thanks,
Thank
Ms. Ward.
you.
Have a great day. Moving on to item B on our agenda today is authorization to enter into agreements for the purchase of the electricity and natural gas with pre-qualified suppliers with Mr. Pete Schenk. Good morning again, Mr. Schenk.
Good morning, Madam Chair. So yes, this is an authorization to enter into an agreements to pre-qualify electric and natural gas providers. So this is very similar to how we handle diesel fuel in terms of we try to lock in futures contracts for both natural gas and electric to get budget certainty. The PRT uses about 49 million of kilowatt hours of electricity and over 100,000 decatherms of natural gas annually at its facilities. PA law permits electrical and natural gas customers to purchase these utilities either from local entities or private suppliers. And much as diesel fuel has been very volatile over the past 18 to 24 months, electric and natural gas rates likewise have been very volatile over that same time period. And these suppliers usually give us about 24 hours in order to hold prices. In order to determine which firms would be interested in supplying the natural gas and electric, a public notice was issued on May 12th, 2022, and we contacted all known suppliers of these of electric and natural gas. We had 4 firms respond on the electricity side, and they were determined to be technically capable of providing the electric power. We had 1 firm that responded on the natural gas side that it was determined would meet PRT's needs for natural gas, direct energy business marketing. So what this resolution would do would authorize PRT to deem each of the identified suppliers as pre-qualified to provide either the electricity or natural gas in the agreement form provided by PRT's legal counsel for a 5-year period beginning in November of 22 and ending in October 31st of 2027, with PRT retaining the sole discretion to extend the pre-qualification time period by additional 3 years with PRT's board approval. This resolution also gives the capability that if there's other suppliers that would be interested and would agree to the same technical terms that were developed by PRT's legal counsel during that time, that they could also be identified and approved as a for a pre-qualified supplier. Are there any questions on that resolution?
I have no questions. To other committee members of POC, questions for Mr. Schenk? Other board members, questions for Mr. Schenk on this? No questions, Mr. Schenk. Thank you.
Thanks very much for your consideration.
You're welcome. Having no questions, could I have a motion to move this forward to the board meeting next Friday?
So moved.
Second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Great, motion carries. Thank you very much. Item C of our agenda, authorization to award construction contract for guarded rail replacement project. Mr. Greg O'Hare, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. This resolution seeks authorization to award construction contract SYS 2205 for guarded rail replacement project. The scope of work consists of 3 work sites along the Red Line. The work consists of track bed reconstruction, including ballast, drainage, and timber ties, guarded and running rail replacement, precast panel replacement at 4 street crossings, ADA ramp reconstruction at those crossings, train control signal LED warning lights, uninterrupted power supply battery backup system at the street crossings, as well as concrete platform repairs at Westfield Station. The work at the locations will be done under single track at Willow Avenue worksite. Full rail closure will be conducted at Alton and Hampshire and Alford Street worksites. Those sites where full rail closure is required, supplemental bus and rail service will be provided. The estimated contract duration is 365 calendar days from notice to proceed. The low responsive bidder was Delta Railroad Construction Incorporated with a bid of $14,483,347. Next slide, please. Perfect, thank you. On the right-hand side is a graphic aerial map. The red line is the red line for the LRT system. The yellow ovals are depicting the various work sites. In the upper right-hand side of the map, adjacent to Westfield Stop, is Alton Street and Hampshire Avenues, located in the city of Pittsburgh. The middle site is Alfred Street, located in Mount Lebanon, adjacent to Mount Lebanon Station. And at the bottom is Willow Avenue, located in Castle Shannon. On the left-hand side is two pictures of the grade crossings and the curved track area, the track that will be replaced. The upper left-hand picture is Alfred Street in Mount Lebanon, and the lower left-hand picture is Willow Avenue in Castle Shannon. With that, I respectfully request the committee to move the resolution to the full board for consideration pending any questions.
Thank you, Mr. O'Hare. Any of the POC committee members have questions for Mr. O'Hare? Do any of our board members have questions for Mr. O'Hare on the construction contract? Hearing none, could I have a motion to move this forward to the full committee?
So moved.
Second, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And I haven't asked for any opposed because it's a short list today. So the ayes have it, motion carries. So thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. O'Hare.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 4 on our agenda, which is physical inventory audit report with Hadiza Buhan this morning. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chairwoman, committee members, and all those in attendance. Internal audit performed our annual inventory count for the fiscal year 2022. This inventory was coordinated by the Purchasing and Materials Department Management, and its purposes is to ensure that the on-hand quality for each inventory item is accurately recorded on PeopleSoft, so that transit operations are supported by having materials and supplies available when needed. For the fiscal year 2022, material and supply expenditures were approximately 22 million per the audited financial statement as of June 30, 2022. Next slide, please. I think you went too far. Okay, objectives. The objectives of the audit was to determine that the adequacy of internal controls, and also to confirm the accuracy of item counts and if the cutoff process were properly followed for requisitions and receipts issues before and after inventory. The scope of the audit was for the fiscal year 2022. Our data audit methodology will be available on the full report. We observed the detail of the methodology will be included in the actual full report. We observed the employees as they counted the inventory items, and then we statistically selected a sample and tested the inventory count, and also tested the cutoff process at the following locations: Manchester, South Hills Village, South Hills Junctions, and also at the auto shop locations. In addition, at these locations, we also judgmentally tested the accuracy of on-hand quantities recorded by the employees conducting the count, and we also counted a sample of the inventory items and compared those counts to the actual count sheets. We also assisted in resolving any resolutions that any variances that may have come up. In our opinion, the fiscal year inventory was in general conducted in a manner that provides reasonable assurance that inventory items were accurately counted. All adjustments to on-hand counted quantities were accurately recorded in PeopleSoft. The cutoff process was properly followed for requisitions and receipts issued before and after the inventory. Significant variances were also resolved and recorded correctly on PeopleSoft. Based on our statistical sampling of 381 items with a margin error of plus or minus 5%, we are 95% confident that the true accuracy rate of items counted in the population is between 84.24 and 94.24%. In addition, we judgmentally selected and counted 351 inventory items, which resulted in an accuracy rate of 95%. We would like to note a few observed strengths during the inventory. Cut-off processes were well controlled. All 80 items of requisition and receipts reviewed as part of the inventory cut-off were processed according to the cut-off instructions, and this represents 100%. Prior to the start of the fiscal year inventory, the manager purchasing materials worked with the manager of inventory operations and distribution to identify items with more than one bin location and to review and adequately resolve these issues. In general, the overflow stock notices were effectively used and typically placed for items with overflow stock. Observations. We are pleased to note that the audit results was positive and there were no observations or findings. Lastly, our auditing standards require us to follow up on all prior audit recommendations, and we are pleased to note that all prior audit recommendations were fully implemented and therefore considered closed. We'd like to extend our appreciation for the cooperation of the procurement staff, and this concludes my presentation.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Buhan. Thank you for your comprehensive report. I appreciate that. Do we have any questions from our committee members for Ms. Buhan on the report, on the audit? Any questions from other board members? Very good. Thank you, Ms. Buhan. Very good. Thank you. May I have a motion? We are at the end of our agenda to conclude our meeting this morning and adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Conclude. And technology with Chairwoman Liptak is up next. Thanks, everyone.
Hello, everyone. We're going to start the technology committee meeting. I just want to do a quick roll call just to see who's still on the line. First with committee members, Representative Muskorski, you still on the line?
Yes, I'm present.
Thanks, Lori, appreciate it. And then can everyone else identify themselves just for the record, please?
Jeff
Ann
Letman.
O'Gorick.
Allie Doyle.
Michelle Smianek.
John
Okay, great.
Tagg.
Thank you, everyone. Oh, thanks, John. Appreciate it. So we're just going to move right along. The first item was to approve the minutes from the September 15th meeting. May I have a motion?
So moved.
And I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we have one item today. It's a resolution. I believe Eric from our capital programs, our director there, will be doing the presentation. Eric, you're up.
Thank you and good morning. This resolution will seek authorization to award an agreement to Hitachi Rail Services, STS USA, Inc. For the Silver Line Library Hybrid Automatic Trip Stop System. A little background about this project. The board approved award in 2018 for the implementation of an automatic trip stops system, which has been ongoing and nearing completion. This new automatic trip stop system is an RFID tag-based system which replaces a 35-year-old inductive loop system. To think about RFID in simplest terms is tag readers, for example, on the Turnpike Easy Pass, where you have a tag that communicates with a tag reader. And that's essentially the technology that we have implementing here. This new ATS provides enhanced safety and reliability on the rail line, where we have the ATS on the red and blue lines. To the right, I have a graphic showing the new ATS where we've been implementing that on the red and blue lines to this point. That project is scheduled to be completed next year. In 2019, in conjunction with a hazards analysis review with PennDOT's Rail Transit Safety Review Board, we concluded that the Silver Line Library was that we had an opportunity there to upgrade some safety elements since that line doesn't have an existing ATS system. So it was determined that a hybrid ATS on the Silver Line Library would provide those additional safety enhancements. To the bottom of the graphic, I've highlighted where the hybrid ATS system would be incorporated. So the scope of this project for the hybrid ATS, again, would utilize the RFID tags to provide localized signal and speed enforcement on the Silver Line Library. I provided an image at the bottom of the graphic that shows one of the tags mounted to the tie under the tracks. And the larger picture above that is showing the equipment on board the rail car for your visual understanding there. The system is considered hybrid since the infrastructure is not present on this line for full ATS system functionality, providing automated routing control by rail traffic operations. Though I would note that the only difference between the full ATS on the red and blue lines and what's being proposed as hybrid on the Silver Line Library is the fact that rail traffic operations doesn't have the visibility, but from a communications perspective from the line, but the line itself and how the system functions will trip the train if the train passed by a red signal. So therefore providing essentially the same safety on the line. The equipment in this case is proprietary to Hitachi, and they're the only viable option. That's the reason there was no RFP advertised for this project. This equipment integrates into the new vehicle ATS system being implemented by Hitachi on the red and blue lines, as I mentioned. The duration of this agreement will be 1 year from notice to proceed with an option to extend for an additional year, and the amount of the agreement will be a not to exceed amount of $1,524,439. So pending any questions, I respectfully request the committee move this resolution to the full board for their consideration.
Thank you very much, Eric, for your presentation. I really appreciate it. Actually, it was very thorough and thoughtful. I don't have any questions. Lori, do you have any questions?
No, and thank you.
No, thank you. And any other members of the board have questions? Hearing none. Okay, then I'll ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
And I will second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, well, that
Thank you.
ends our business for today, and that ends all committee meetings for this Thursday morning. So on behalf of my committee and then the entire board, I'd like to thank everyone for their participation, and we adjourn the committee meetings for today. So thank you.
See you all next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.